Welcome to Sportpen. Today we're diving into the really extraordinary journey of Andre Agassi. We're going to try and trace those pivotal moments, the sheer determination and those performances that just changed the game and really forged him into a sports legend. Our mission here is to explore what fundamentally makes someone great in sports and how do these iconic figures kind of rewrite the whole story.
Yeah, and what's fascinating right off the bat with Agassi is his father's influence. Huge. Emmanuel Mike Agassi, he started this super intense training really, really early on. We're talking like 1970 through 83 maybe.
Yeah.
You could definitely argue that intense start was the crucible where that talent first got hammered out.
Let's dig into that a bit because, despite all this success later, Agassi himself talks a lot about this deep, deep resentment for tennis. It's such a paradox, isn't it? Getting to the very top of a sport you actually, strongly dislike makes you wonder how many top performers, maybe in any field, are driven more by outside pressure than, actual love for it. And what does that do long term?
Oh, absolutely. It's a crucial point. And this wasn't just like a passing feeling. He called it the dark and secret passion, his hatred for it. This animosity, he said, came from feeling like he had no choice. Like tennis created this huge disconnect, maybe with his dad, but definitely with himself.
Right. And that feeling of no control, it seems like it got dialed way up when he was sent off to Nick Bollettieri's academy. He was only 13. And his memories of that place, they're not exactly fond ones.
No, not at all. Far from it. He famously called it a glorified prison camp. And even compared it to Lord of the Flies, that kind of brutal environment, just this sort of primitive setup where teenagers were basically left to figure things out, raise themselves, establish a pecking order. It sounds pretty intense.
Yeah, not exactly the nurturing environment you might picture for developing elite athletes today.
Exactly. It does make you question those high-pressure sink-or-swim places versus maybe more supportive ways to build talent.
So this pressure cooker, plus feeling like he's living out his dad's dream, not his own, it creates this drive to succeed, but maybe just to get out.
Precisely. He felt like he had to do well to escape that situation, and that whole dynamic really shaped his outlook. He even admitted being incredibly tough on himself because of that strong father figure pushing him.
Okay, so let's jump forward a bit. Agassi hits the pro scene. Talent's obvious. Everyone's calling him a future Grand Slam champ. He gets to semis at the French and U.S. Open in '88, then the U.S. Open again in '89. The hype was real.
For sure. And yet, even as things are taking off, his relationship with Wimbledon was, let's just say, tricky. Him deciding to skip it for, 3 years, 88 to 90?
Right.
Because of the tradition, the dress code he called predominantly white, that really shows his early pushback against some of the sport's established ways.
He did play in '87, but got bounced first round.
Right. So that defiance, that challenging the norms, you could see early on how he might, shake things up in tennis.
Then you get those early Grand Slam final heartbreaks. That 1990 French Open against Andres Gomez, famously overshadowed by him worrying about his wig falling off.
Can you imagine? It sounds almost trivial now, but the mental pressure, it really shows the hidden battles these athletes fight, doesn't it? Stuff we never see.
Totally. And then later that year, the U.S. Open final, the start of that massive rivalry with P. Sampras.
Yeah, and the irony is Agassi had apparently dismissed Sampras's chances before that.
Only to lose in straight sets in his second slam final that year. Wow. Shows how fast things change in sports.
It really does. But, 1990 wasn't all bad for him. He ended it on a high, actually. Helped the U.S. win the Davis Cup, and he won the Tennis Masters Cup, too.
Right. A total roller coaster year for him.
Absolutely. And we can't forget that Canon ad, "Image is everything."
Oh, yeah. Iconic.
Became this huge cultural thing. But knowing what we know now about the wig and his early hair loss, it adds this layer of, personal irony and complexity for him. He later said he felt kind of betrayed by it.
Okay, moving into the mid-'90s, this is where Agassi really hits the absolute peak. World number 1, April '95. Held it for 30 weeks. Wow. That year, his record was insane, like 73 wins, 9 losses. Plus, he was key in another U.S. Davis Cup win. Statistically, just dominant.
Totally his best year on paper. But then 1996, it was different. Less success in the slams. But then out of that, he wins the Olympic gold medal in Atlanta, men's singles.
Right. Another peak after a bit of a dip. It shows those ups and downs in any long career.
Definitely. And then there's that bombshell from his book admitting he intentionally lost the '96 Australian Open semi.
To avoid playing Boris Becker in the final.
Yeah, it's those kinds of incredibly honest moments that just blow away the simple narratives we have about these guys.
It really forces you to rethink things. Here's a guy who goes on to get the career Grand Slam, wins all 4 majors.
Australian, French, Wimbledon, U.S. Open. Huge achievement.
Yeah, he's confessing he hated the sport with a dark and secret passion for so much of it.
That pressure from his dad, that feeling of no control, it just casts such a long shadow, clearly.
It feels like getting Gil Reyes involved as his conditioning coach around 1990 was massive.
Oh, huge. Not just physically, after that really tough loss in '89 he talked about, but personally, too.
Reyes became this really important figure, right? Like a close friend, almost a father figure.
Yeah, their partnership kicked off with the tournament win straight away at San Francisco that year. It showed immediate results, and Reyes gave him that crucial support, especially after those tough slam final losses. He became totally essential to Agassi's team.
Okay, let's talk Wimbledon. The tournament he openly said he disliked. Said practicing on grass made his game worse.
Right. His first time there in '87 was super short. Didn't go back till '91, made the quarters.
And then 1992, the breakthrough, his first Grand Slam title.
Monumental moment. Even Nick Bollettieri, sitting in his box, said the feeling was just beyond anything.
And it's significant that Agassi publicly credited Bollettieri's role in his tennis, despite, hating the Academy vibe earlier.
Absolutely. That win must have been such a release after losing 3 previous slam finals.
And winning it on grass, the surface he supposedly hated. That's him rewriting his own story right there, isn't it? Pushing past limits.
Totally. It's amazing, really. And from there, he goes on to get the Super Slam, which is all 4 majors, Olympic gold, and the year-end championship at some point. Nobody else in men's tennis has done that.
Plus, he's one of only 2 guys to get the career Golden Slam, the 4 majors plus Olympic gold.
His place in history is cemented with those achievements, no question. But like we've been saying, the story's never just about the wins, is it?
No way. That rivalry with Sampras defined a whole era. Such a clash.
Yeah, the flashy baseline power of Agassi versus Sampras's smooth serve and volley. Different personalities, too.
Totally. And while the competition on court was fierce, his book Open revealed things were more complicated personally, sometimes pretty negative between them.
That Hit for Haiti charity thing years later kind of brought some of that awkwardness out into the open again.
But what's really striking is how his feelings about tennis changed over time.
Yeah, despite hating it for so long, he eventually found, a gratitude for it, realizing it led him to his wife, Steffi Graf, his family. And crucially for his later life, the platform for all his charity work.
That retirement in 2006, it sounds like it was partly a relief, right? Playing through so much pain. But it also kicked off this huge next chapter focused on giving back.
His commitment to philanthropy is serious. The Andre Agassi Charitable Foundation, it really shows that shift. And the Andre Agassi College Prep Academy in Vegas tuition-free charter school, he put in $35 million himself.
For at-risk kids. And it's been incredibly successful, hasn't it, getting kids to college?
Yeah, the results are remarkable. It speaks volumes.
And his foundation helps other places, too, like Child Haven for abused kids.
Right. It's clear that for him, now, this work, making a difference in kids' lives, that's actually more important than the tennis trophies.
And maybe that dedication to something bigger is another part of what makes an athlete truly great, truly impactful.
I think so. And, his whole life story just perfectly shows how tangled up an athlete's personal life and experiences are with what they achieve on the court or field or whatever. His book, Open, gives you such incredible insight into all those connections. It helps you understand the real complexity behind athletic greatness.
Yeah, Andre Agassi's journey. It's just this gripping story of amazing talent mixed with personal struggles, rebellion, and then finding this kind of acceptance, this purpose beyond just winning. It really makes you think, what does define a legend in sports? Is it just the titles, or is it something more? The resilience, the personal growth, the lasting impact they have off the court too. What parts of an athlete's story really make them legendary in your eyes? Thanks for listening to Sportpen.